And welcome back to MSI 2021. I'm still Medi, he's still Betty, and we are still here. Please stop dancing, please. We have League of Legends to cast. These are important matches, Vedius.
Yeah, of course they are. I'm just saying, bit of boogieing, getting people in the mood, you know, like...
Boogieing, that's what you're gonna call it?
Yeah, because we've got Buggax in the top lane for Infinity versus DFM. Smooth transition. So let's talk a little bit about how this is a do or die situation for Infinity. They need to win this game if they want a chance of getting out of this group. Now tell me, Medic, will Damwon lock a spot if they get this next win?
I believe they will, because they will get to 4 wins, and DFM and Cloud9 face each other, so no other team could get to 4 wins in total.
All right, there we are. So this pretty much decides it. Will Infinity deny Damwon a spot, or delay perhaps I should say, and keep their hopes alive, or will Damwon lock their spot in the Rumble stage? We're going to see the continued Thresh ban. I wonder if this will be a thing later into the tournament as well, because they have literally banned Thresh every single game, Medic, and I don't think it's a concern just yet, but it's something to think about as we move forward into the tournament.
I mean, the question always is what do you lose from banning Thresh, right? You lose a possible Rumble ban. You lose a possible Morgana ban if you hadn't banned it out yourself. So it's always about what ban are you trading to get rid of the Thresh. At the moment, I feel especially on blue side, you can afford to leave open the Rumbles or leave open one of those powerful junglers. Although Kanya didn't have the best performance on Rumble earlier today, and Infinity are saying, well, you take it if you want it. We saw what you did last time.
I like it. Rumble not insta-locked. Teams are learning. I think teams have come to the conclusion that Udyr is a perfectly fine matchup into the Rumble. So the question will now be, will SolidSnake just lock in the Rumble? And this is also interesting that DK have gone for the Kai'Sa once again, because Trist is still open. Okay, Infinity are going to go for the Rumble. Now, oh man, I have so many questions now because this draft is so different to what we would normally expect. Our first pick Kai'Sa is very uncharacteristic, but the fact that they won it on Ghost suggests to me that number one, like, maybe this leads to bigger questions about Ghost champion pool, which, you know, I'm going to say for a completely other time. But the bigger conversation, I think, is that, like, what other junglers are they going to pair up with this? Because I think one of the powerful things about Rumble is you lay down the equalizer, and then if you just get something like a Nautilus that then offers that CC, very easy dive power from the Kai'Sa. But they're not going to have that available. Instead, they're going to stick to classic DK style. Look, they're taking... I'm not going to say inspiration, because that's probably unfair, considering this is a really common matchup. Gnar and Udyr are something that DFM have leveraged a lot in this tournament to actually just scale into the late game because of how strong of a front line it is. DK actually going back to their roots and playing more towards that teamfight style and having this strong front line of the Udyr and the Gnar, which will be so powerful in the later game fights.
Of course, Tristana very good in the later game fights as well. That's locked in for Infinity. One thing I did notice, and I thought about it a little bit, is Shirelia's supports are really good into Rumble. Alistair with Shirelia's can work really well into Rumble, because if he puts the equalizer down, you pop that, everyone can scatter, everyone can scarper from the equalizer. And so if you're in one of these wider fights, in a river, around a Baron, you can actually manage to negate a lot of the damage that would usually go down.
So ban Alistair is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Let's see it, Infinity. Ban away the Alistair. I think that we've already seen the teams are happy to play Alistair into the Nautilus as well. I'm thinking Infinity will play Yone.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I think they'll do.
Why do you think that?
Didn't they already do it once this tournament?
Yeah, they did.
Well, that's one of the main reasons. But when you run AP jungle, you need an AD mid, and with Lucian already banned off the table, the only alternative is...
it wasn't Infinity who ran it.
Oh, it wasn't Infinity?
I'll find out exactly who it was. Infinity have run Sylas, Lucian, and Victor in the mid lane.
Right. But, oh, they also banned the Nocturne. It could also just be a Trist mid. And then they could just pick something else bot, which means that I would expect to see a top lane lock in right now for Infinity. The question is, what are they going to go for? Let's have a look. Renekton taken off the board. Okay.
Don't talk about the hovers, Vedi. Don't talk about the hovers.
I immediately thought that was a Xin Zhao top lane, and I was like, oh, I have prepped for this.
We have also seen Rumble moved into mid lane or top lane, depending on what the matchups are. Instead, Zoe will be picked mid here for Cody, one of his most played in the regular season. I will note as well, for anyone who was wondering at home, 7 for Istanbul Wildcats, the Yone.
Okay.
Another team name starting with I, so I can't blame your confusion there. Rell, next up on the menu for DWG KIA. We've seen Rell kind of fall off a little bit. She is still really strong. She just has some very well-known counter matchups, things like the Alistair, and her mount-up time being nerfed a little bit does hurt her in the lane as well.
Well, still going to offer a pretty solid engage, and we're going to get front-to-back teamfight comp. The dive obviously is still there with the Kai'Sa. Relatively short range as well. But I'm not a fan of Infinity's comp. I feel like it's a little bit all over the place. Right now they're just hovering supports. I think this is just a thing that Ackerman does.
He hovers a Pike as his most favored support ever. Like it's his OTP, what he used to play all of the time, alongside the Bard. And is that? Okay, it wasn't. I thought it was a Rek'Sai for a second. I was a little confused, but there is the Jayce in the top lane for Buggax.
So the problem with Infinity's comp, very difficult to play. You're also playing into Damwon, which generally you never want the harder to execute comp when playing against a team like this, but they do have a poke comp. So usually, well, there's a couple things that Infinity need. Number one, they have to get Buggax ahead, so they have to play through top side of the map, which, as we've seen, they're actually not that good at doing. They kind of leave Buggax on an island and usually play through their bot side of the map because it's Whitelotus and Ackerman. Secondly, you have to be on objectives first, every time, without a doubt, because what you want is the enemy to walk into your poke. So you create fogs of war, and then as they're trying to approach, you hit them with all this poke. But if the tanks on Khan and Canyon and BeryL can just soak up that poke and ignore you, then that's a problem. So Infinity have to be ahead. That is the crucial part of this composition. But you have to be ahead against DWG KIA.
I mean, DWG do traditionally fall behind in the early game, usually to the sum of about 1,000 to 2,000 gold at the 20-minute mark. However,
the last time they met, that's not what happened.
No, it is not. No, it is not. So we'll see if Infinity are able to get an early lead versus DWG KIA. Perhaps DWG KIA will fall for the second time in the day. There is still a juicy 5-way tie possibility, Vedius. It's very unlikely, but Infinity would need to win. 5-way? Very unlikely because there's only 4 teams in the group. A 4-way tie possibility. Infinity would need to win this game if we were going to go down that route. So perhaps this is the start of the dankest timeline.
I think also for Damwon, they want to showcase that they're better than what they've shown already.
Yeah.
We heard it from Grabbz a little bit on the Analyst desk where he said this actually isn't DK's usual style, what we've been seeing from them so far in the tournament. We saw Gangplank top, Khan struggled. We saw a Jayce top, Khan struggled. I will say that like when the comparison has come up between Khan and Noguri, the debate has often been that, okay, Noguri was always a carry player, and then Khan was like that tank player. But Noguri showcased at Worlds last year, like how he could 1v9 on champions like Ornn, and he could be a huge tank player as well. And so after his departure, obviously many people were like, this team is weaker. And then day one, Khan comes out, smashes Fudge, has a great game, and people are like, ah, there you go. Yep. Classic Damwon. Even if he's maybe a little mechanically weaker, he's still good. But I think we've now actually seen a few times some of the failures of Khan. He has made a couple of mistakes in lane. He has been carries. And while I think still impactful in teamfights, still an excellent teamfight player, of course, I think individually on things like side lanes, he has made those mistakes. But this is what he's comfortable on. Weak side, top side of the map. And when he gets fewer resources, I think he just respects his opposition a lot more, plays a lot more defensively, and is in a lot more of his comfort, whereas DK are now scaling more towards the team fights. And we've already seen how strong their team fighting is in a comp that inevitably got outscaled by Cloud9. They kept those fights incredibly close. And now they have a composition that is designed and built for team fighting. So I'm hoping we get to see some really masterclass team fights from the side of DK. But of course, Infinity don't. As we mentioned, it's all about them getting an early game lead. With the Rumble starting on the bot side of the map path towards top, this is a good adaptation where you're going to try and funnel those resources into Buggax, have him use his prio top to secure that early top scuttle as well, and ideally get the ball going already in the early game.
Level 2 for Damwon's bottom lane will be hit first. They have the push priority, and the Whitelotus and Ackerman will just back away. Importantly, Buggax did use all 3 of his Corrupting Potion charges already in that lane. Khan has the Door and Shield, so he'll be able to heal himself up just a little bit, but Buggax has been on the worst side of some of these trades as Khan jumps in. Knockback from Buggax will keep Gnar at arm's length.
I think the general idea with Corrupting Pots for champions like Jayce is you want to basically just burn through your health and mana.
Yeah.
And just trade as often as possible, and because he's only got a Doran shield, you should win out on the trades. But Khan has been playing the 1v1 well. Even has the level advantage right now. Doesn't have priority in that lane for Buggax, which could be problematic. Mid lane as well, I noticed that ShowMaker is actually doing a really good job of maintaining priority as well, which is kind of uncommon for a Zoe and an Orianna. Orianna in the early laning phase doesn't have the easiest push, especially against a champion like Zoe, but notice positioning of ShowMaker in the lane as well, sitting out halfway up and just constantly poking and prodding at Cody, who's even running the corrupting pot. So now he's been able to get that priority. Now he's going to move into the top side river, and this is where I expect to see SolidSnake moving into the river as well.
You can see Canyon keeping up pace as well with SolidSnake's jungle path. He's okay, so he doesn't know the ward is there, but he is backing and leaving topside Scuttle Crab. He's going to get caught out by the boomerang. Now his recall has been reset, and it means Canyon has had time to base, get himself Boots of Lucidity, get bot Scuttle, and now work his way up towards topside Scuttle.
So I think he's really worried about the fact that top lane doesn't have prior. Yeah. And he was concerned about where Canyon's
Ackerman's going to land the hook here onto Ghost. BeryL forced away as well. No summoners burnt on either side, but continuous push there from Ghost and BeryL in the bottom side. And Canyon's going to get double Scuttle here pretty easily. It was actually out-farming SolidSnake on that first clear, and SolidSnake just works his way down to Gromp and has to accept the meager remains of his own jungle.
This is just a matter of Damwon's individual players managing their lanes better, and how they've been able to manipulate. Damwon in the early game had 3 pushing waves, right? And bot lane is understandable because of the push, but now Buggax forces the flash out from Khan. Khan choosing to delay his base means the item advantage, and now the flash in.
BeryL's going to be able to jump away. He was used there as well. BeryL did burn his flash. Ackerman burned his flash and his ignite, and SolidSnake will clear out this vision on the bottom side. Teleport used up towards the top lane. Buggax has already used his, so now Canyon will take this opportunity to find himself a little bit of chicken as he gets the Razor Beaks away from SolidSnake.
Now notice that Khan has decided to go for double armor. I think this is the best choice in the 1 versus 1 matchup against many hyper-aggressive top lane carriers like this. Get that early armor to mitigate some of the burst and poke, and they're actually setting up for a dive. Look at this vision they've even been able to get towards the top side rather of Infinity's jungle. Canyon's going to steal away these Krogs. They're going to have full information on where SolidSnake is, and if they want, he may even go for a kill. As you can also see, BeryL on his way up towards the fight.
And Buggax is going to work his way across first, gets an accelerated shock blast onto the face of Cannon, but here is the Hex Flash. Ackerman is here to try and turn it around. Currently it's a 2v2, the teleport coming in from Damwon KIA. Canyon trying to get him from the bottom side. The knockup lands onto Buggax, and now he is in all kinds of hurt. Flashes over the wall, ShowMaker will flash in response. Ignite will take the kill, BeryL secures it. And Gillette Infinity found wanting in the top lane play.
Infinity are just behind in every way, shape, and form. Khan was first to rotate down because he had the pressure in the top lane. Canyon was in the enemy jungle, had set up all that vision, was even able to steal away the camps. BeryL was already first in the rotation because he had the priority. He reset first, and then the TP from ShowMaker as well. Like, just look at the minimap right now. I'm going to see if I can bring this up because the positioning of everyone is just flawless. Let's see if this one works better. No, it doesn't. Anyway, you can see on the minimap, the ShowMaker reset immediately so that he can spend his money, then TP up and join the fight. BeryL, of course, is already here way before Ackerman does. Even though Ackerman has a higher level, it doesn't matter. And so you create the situation which is 4 versus 2. Just a really good demonstration of good awareness, good communication, and good punish from the side of DK.
BeryL being able to be there first really changed the play. 1,000 gold lead for Damwon KIA right now. And a lot of that will be sitting in the pockets of BeryL, actually, because he got that first kill. He's got double Ruby Crystal. You can see he's about 400 gold ahead himself. Top lane, 200 gold lead. Jungle, 300 gold lead, as Canyon is already level 6, and SolidSnake is about to get his first scuttle of the game. So it wasn't held off all of them, as we saw earlier on, but we'll be able to secure one, and now has the equalizer. We'll see if Gillette Infinity want to try and make a play around the fact that they have that very powerful skirmish ultimate.
Your jungle? My jungle. Canyon doing what he often does. Enemy raptors are alive. Well, I better go check them. I'm either going to steal them or I'm going to gain information. One of the two. And so now he knows exactly where the enemy jungler is in Canyon. Of course, having a very impressive tournament overall. His KD, the fact that he's 5th at 4.4 just goes to show how bloody the jungle role has been overall. But his damage per minute, his CS difference, his gold difference, all sitting at first across the board. Like, the man has been a monster in the early game. He is hyper efficient when it comes to jungling. And I know that many are excited to see him face up against some of the junglers like Elyoya in particular and Wei over from RNG as well. But they will have to get out of this group first. They're looking good in this second, or their second game rather, of the day with a slight gold advantage. And remember what we said, Medic.
Infinity want to be ahead. We should have. I was going for the together. I was going for it at the same time there. Whitelotus called out here in the bottom lane as BeryL and Ghost continue to force the Infinity bot lane to use those summoners. Heal pop, there's the Gnar. Buggax stunned up, and here comes Canyon. Equalizer's not going to do too much. And Khan and Canyon walk out 1 kill at the better.
Say it again, Medic. What did Infinity want to be?
They wanted to be ahead.
And where are they?
Behind.
Exactly. This is not a good look for Infinity. They wanted to try and get the Jayce in a position where he could have threat in a side lane. They wanted to try and get SolidSnake these early kills, use the early power of Rumble, but they're faltering across the board. They're losing 2v2 trades in the bot side. They're getting killed up towards the top. Everything in the early game is going in Darmon's favor, and they're going to leverage that into their stronger team fighting as the game progresses.
And they're going to leverage it into taking some of these neutral objectives. Rift Herald secured for them. We're having a look at this top lane play. Khan does the Gnar into Wallop combo we saw in the last game.
And he's even able to get all 3 CS as well, so maximum efficiency coming out from Khan.
Is that what you're thinking about when you're Gnaring people? It's like,
I mean, I was looking at it and
CS.
I was like, oh, those CS is so low right now. That's probably his logic, you know? Yeah. He was sitting there saying, we could kill Jayce, or
I could farm it and we kill Jayce.
I could farm and kill Jayce, exactly. Top laners, they don't get a lot medics. You got to give them something, you know what I mean? And farm's pretty much all they got. In any case, right now, Khan has a kill and an assist, so he's feeling pretty comfortable.
Yeah, 1-0-1 so far on that. Gnar is about 15 CS, well, 13 CS up right now as well, in a very strong position. And he has been a point of weakness for the LCK representatives so far this tournament. We've seen him shut down by DFM in their first round robin and by C9 earlier today. But when Khan gets ahead, it's pretty difficult to keep that snowball from rolling down the hill. SolidSnake looking for a position here, looking for the gank, as here comes the equalizer, and BeryL jumps away, is dead as Whitelotus lands the explosive charge and takes the kill. And now perhaps Infinity are looking for a bit more. They want to get this wave pushed in at least to perhaps get some plates over onto their AD carry.
Good gank on the bot side of the map for Infinity. They will finally get themselves on the scoreboard. But the problem is it might be too little too late. Like White Lotus is really your only late game insurance. But with the rate at which DK is accelerating the game, it feels like that it's going to be difficult to bounce back. But we'll have to wait and see. We've seen crazy comebacks before. And once again, your Raptors, no, they're Canyon's Raptors.
Yeah. Canyon just constantly in the enemy's jungle, in the enemy's face, taking away as much as he can. Snake is working his way up here towards the top lane for a gank. Equalizer still got about a third of his cooldown down. Khan gets the Gnar into the wall as Buggax looks for the trade, and Khan takes a tower shot there as well. It's going to flash away, but he will burn, 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 baby. SolidSnake gets his first kill of the game.
Well played. Okay, SolidSnake, gank bot, gank top, 2 kills for Infinity. I like it. We want to keep this proactivity going because he needs to be more active on the map. This is now an opportunity for Infinity to start that comeback. The game isn't so doomed yet that they can't turn this one around. The worst thing that they could have done is nothing. But SolidSnake showcasing that he is ready to accept another mission and go back out onto the field. But unfortunately, Canyon steals counts from you, not the other way around.
Yeah, SolidSnake here forced away. TP coming in behind him. Oh, Snake. Oh, find yourself a cardboard box because you need to run and hide, my man. Khan coming in. There's the equalizer, but SolidSnake has nowhere to go, and ShowMaker will take his life.
That's what happens when you try to steal things from Canyon. He is kind of a jungle bully.
The burglar alarm goes off. Your wolves are under attack.
Yeah, no one is allowed Canyon's jungle except for Canyon. And he will make sure that any that trespass are punished. Even saying, Khan, you will TP right now. He's like, but my top wave, I need to TP. Yep. And he's like, yes, Mr. Canyon. Immediately, Mr. Canyon. We will protect your jungle camps.
Canyon does have about a 12 CS lead in that jungle, equivalent to about 3 camps. We've seen him steal away the Razorbeaks a couple of times, so that's definitely going to contribute. Ghost is doing his best General Grievous impression, as he has every sword you can get in his inventory with triple longsword serrated dirk. He has added a pickaxe in there as well, perhaps going mining later on. But it's 1,000 gold leaf down on Kia. No one's really set up around the dragon as of yet. You can see a couple of wards here from Infinity are spotting out these roams from BeryL.
Quite a late dragon, for sure. Canyon prioritizing getting that early herald. It will be disappearing soon. I would have expected him to actually use it top side of the map, perhaps to deny Buggax even more and then unlock Khan on the map a little bit. But with his current pathing, he's hovering around the bot side. It looks like he's just going to drop it mid as SolidSnake looks for another gank on top.
Oh, I thought Khan was going to back off, but he is walking right back in here. Buggax pushing forward. SolidSnake trying to get into that overheat. Trying to get into the danger zone. Gives you extra damage. Khan still has the leap here. We'll just hop onto his minions and walk away. Rift Herald was used in the mid lane to get 2 plates, I believe. And that will extend the gold lead to about 2,000 gold ahead here for DWG KIA. Canyon realizes that, well, enemy junglers on the top side. This is a free Ocean Dragon for my team.
Khan was also aware that there may be a risk of a dive, but also noticed that he went down to check the Gromp, making sure that all those camps are still available for Canyon to take for himself, as you rightly said. Dragon goes down. Very late Dragon. Likely not going to be the primary win condition, as Damwon have suddenly...
They're going to dive this? ShowMaker's coming.
Yeah, he has the priority. They have a stacked wave. They may just prioritize jungle.
What did I say? Why would I ever think Canyon would dive? There is a Grump on the map. He will take that down. Plate does not fall in the bottom lane. Gillette Infinity able to keep all 5 tower plates there. They lost 1 in the top and 3 in the mid and only gained 2 for themselves. BeryL and Ghost on a little bit of a covert mission here, Vedius. BeryL does have the Magnet Storm, has the jump in as well.
But get spotted out though by Ackerman, the sweeper there.
Oh, yep.
So not too much is going to happen. Just want to highlight that for a brief moment, Canyon did in fact have more CS than both enemy top laners. Is in fact tied with Whitelotus right now by a part due to the fact that Damwon's bot lane has been hyper aggressive and has been very effective at punishing the 2 versus 2, but just goes to show how effective Canyon and efficient he has been in the jungle rather. Only a 400, 500 gold advantage. A lot of the gold advantage really coming in the mid lane with ShowMaker having that CS lead, and also thanks to the plates that he was able to get off of that earlier Rift Herald.
Okay, Vedi, let's go back to our checklist. We're 15 minutes in. There's a 2,000 gold lead for DWG KIA. And what did we say Infinity wanted to be?
Ahead.
And what are they?
Behind.
Yes, exactly. So right now, DWG KIA very much in the ascendancy in this game. Have the advantage. It hasn't been a bloody affair, hasn't been skirmish heavy, but they know exactly where they can play on the map. And you can see SolidSnake trying to do stuff about it. He's been top lane a couple of times, trying to catch out Khan. You've seen Whitelotus looking for plays in the bottom lane, but they haven't been able to find them. SolidSnake was spotted on a ward here, puts down a control ward of his own, so he'll now know that this Rift Herald has been started up. And it's going to be reset. Oh, Canyon keeping the aggro. The patience down to about half. Let's see if Shelly tires of this fight or if DWG KIA are willing to take it. ShowMaker still in the mid lane right now, and Gillette Infinity will steal the Rift Herald away.
Certainly will. A small consolation prize. They may be able to use this to break a tower. The problem is, Damwon's tower. Oh, hang on, that's some good damage. Yeah, but he's not going to be able to follow up on that. ShowMaker's there to protect him as well. Yeah, the problem is, Infinity only really ever have priority in mid lane, and they don't get it for very long. Khan is consistently pushing in the top wave. They just secured the bot tower. Ghost is even further ahead on his Kai'Sa. And now BeryL is even hovering mid lane to help them secure this mid tower as well.
BeryL's half HP
from SolidSnake.
SolidSnake's in a great position. There's the equalizer. BeryL really doesn't have anywhere to go. Will have the jump, gets a little bit of a shield from that, but the sleepy trouble bubble will connect and BeryL will go back to the fountain.
And again, I think that it's good that Infinity are finding these picks, but the problem is that they're not really unlocking a lot of their carries.
Oh, flash hook, the engage is in, the TP coming in. They're looking to unlock Whitelotus right now. Ghost will fall. Ackerman takes the kill and survives the tower as well. Infinity pulling some triggers around the map.
That was very clean from Infinity. I liked what we saw from them. I was worried for Whitelotus because he actually had tower aggro there, but you know what? Flawlessly done. They're able to get out without losing anyone. Did have to sacrifice a couple of summoner spells, but fair play. They'll get themselves another kill. Will get themselves a tower as well. A little bit more money into Whitelotus's back pocket. And now the game is a lot more about Whitelotus. Can he turn this game around?
Shockwave onto Cody. He uses the heal, I believe, or the ghost on the unsealed spellbook to try and get himself away from that. And now Buggax trading with Khan in the top lane. Buggax chasing in here with the phase rush. Has a huge amount of movement speed to chase down that Gnar, but the boomerang will connect. And Buggax is chunked down to about half HP.
It's unfortunate that what's it called? Plant?
Yeah.
The thing.
Which one?
Health.
The blast? Oh, the honey fruit.
Yeah, honey fruit. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Plant that gives health. I mean, could it be broccoli for all I know? You're lucky I've cast with you for a while, so I
Yeah.
understand what your cryptic messages are about. SolidSnake looking for a bait here in the top lane. Does have the Rift Herald. Khan's going to go in, building up that Mega Gnar. Canyon's on his way as well, and the Gnar into the wall, and SolidSnake is behind enemy lines. He's dead. Khan will take that kill.
Beautiful stuff from the DK top side. They were able to punish the gank for Infinity, and I was going to say that Buggax had a really good trade there, and it's a shame that the Honey Fruit was able to give so much health back to Khan, because with that health advantage, Buggax may have very well have been able to do something, but instead, more camps are just going to get stolen. I'm really curious as to, like, I know we have counter jungling stats, but like getting more into the specifics of how many camps Canyon takes versus how many you take from him.
I can give you his counter jungle percentage if you'd like.
That's the amount of time he spends in the enemy jungle, right?
11% of the time between 3 and 15 minutes he is in the enemy jungle. First in the league. It's a lot of time. It's about the same amount of time he spends near his top laner. So it's quite a while as DWG KIA will start up the second dragon of the game. They have a 2,500 gold lead, and although this game, you know, mathematically isn't over, what has happened here is Infinity have drafted a composition that needed to get ahead and needed to be able to control objectives. And because DWG KIA have outlaned them and outganked them, they just can't do that. And so the expectation is, even though it is relatively close, only 2,000 between the two teams, DWG KIA will continue to do things like this, continue to make plays on the map, and continue to find picks.
Unfortunately for Infinity, like, you can sit there and say maybe they can find a miracle team fight, and maybe. The problem is, DWG's team fight comp is just so much stronger. BeryL
Nice
will be
hook onto
caught out
BeryL.
again.
Does have the flash. The shockwave lands onto 3 Whitelotus, able to jump out, just about survives as he gets back underneath his tower. And it's another good catch, as you say. Like, finding these picks will help, but in the end, ShowMaker still very healthy. He's going to be able to chunk away at this mid lane tower, and with the Rift Herald going down from SolidSnake, Canyon just walks around the corner. Equalizer not going to be able to clear out the minion wave, and the Rift Herald will get killed before it can even get a charge off.
It's doing its best to ignore all of DWG.
Just sprinting it. Let's go.
Will not be able to get past the 3-man unit of DK though. And yeah, that's now all out of towers taken. DWG are just playing the slow and steady game. This is largely what they did in playoffs. You know, they would play more towards the late game fights, wouldn't just dominate you in the early game, but it's just been slow controlled, and that shockwave was beautiful from ShowMaker. And the most important thing about it is he chunked all 3 members out. So they're not healthy enough to defend, so even though they get that kill onto BeryL, it results in the mid lane tower. Canyon stealing the Krugs once again.
I believe SolidSnake did secure them himself. I will give credit to SolidSnake. He is being counter-jungled a lot this game, and he's still only about 11 CS down. Like, the guy is about 3 camps down overall on this Rumble. Level 12 to level 12 isn't being totally out-farmed by this Udyr, and now perhaps we'll see them start to set up down towards the bottom side of the map. Still 3 minutes on the Mountain Drake that is coming up, but it would be DWG KIA's 3rd dragon of the game. We'll put them on Soul Point, and would set them in good stead to start closing this one out.
It feels just like a matter of time. And unfortunately for Infinity, that will mean the end of their MSI showing. DWG.
I mean, they do still get one more game. Just
Of course.
they will be eliminated from a possibility of getting to Rumble stage.
And it's still going to be a very important game for Cloud9, because Cloud9 still have to play both Infinity and DFM, and the outcome of those games could very much dictate the outcome of the group. DWG, though, will secure a spot in the Rumble stage, I think, to many people's expectations, but in the fashion with which that they have been performing, I think many have been a little bit surprised. The current reigning world champions, obviously those 2 words mean the same thing, but you get my point.
The current reigning, right now,
I think many people expected them to just be 6-0.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
And a lot of people said that they were the clear favorites. I mean, I was one of them. I sat there and said I think DWG is a cut above the rest, but I think with some of their drafts and some of their execution, especially BeryL, I think he's been caught out quite a few times. Doubts are starting to surface around this team about how beatable they are, but when they play comfort picks like this, you definitely start to see why they are considered so dominant and why so many people rated them so highly.
Gillette Infinity perhaps looking for a fight here, as we know that dragon is spawning in just a couple of moments' time. I will draw attention to when we looked at the gold chart that Canyon is running futures market on this Udyr. Not something we always see. It was in negative gold. He's managed to put himself in a little bit of debt to buy himself a Force of Nature, and I'll take that trade. Gives you a good spike before the next possible fight. Infinity here know that they are a numbers advantage as Canyon goes in. The Magnet Storm on the backline is huge. Equalizer coming out as well as Canyon is down to about 2/3 HP. BeryL takes a lot of damage. Buster shot not quite enough. Ignite is still ticking. TP's coming in as Ghost lands the long range Void Seeker. Hook comes out, but Canyon dives a little bit too greedily, a little bit too deep, and he will die. Khan building up the Mega Gnar is knocked up. There's a shockwave, only brings back one. Buggax is dead. Khan diving in with a stride breaker once again. Looks for the slow on SolidSnake and will connect. Snake still has the flash, and he will slither his way out through his own jungle. In the end, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but DWG KIA now have the health advantage and can push in this mid lane. It's Ghost! Won't have the damage with the Acathian raid to take those 2 kills.
Crucially, DWG also keep their mid-tier 1 alive and get the setup on the Drake. Buggax will be alive before it respawns, but Canyon will be as well. So DWG, I think they won't actually look to reset here. So if Infinity want to try and go for another fight, because of the low cooldown Rumble ultimate, look, it's already back up. Khan won't have his Mega Gnar form.
Buggax has TP as well.
He's definitely going to have that Mega Gnar up and available. BeryL, is he going to reset? No, I don't think he is. Oh, they're not even going to take it with Canyon. Why? Because they're a jungle camp to farm.
Canyon's like, I went into debt with Futures Market, I must pay it off. Tom Nook wants his bells, Vedius.
Well, this should very well be the Drake Infinity. A little too concerned to face check because, oh look, Khan is here.
A little bit of a visual bug. That Gnar did land Buggax into the wall as he tries to trade back onto Khan. Both of them chunked out quite successfully, but Khan will be able just to force the Jayce away. Dragon goes down. Canyon
Oh, Canyon also got that because, of course, it is a jungle camp, so he's got to farm it.
Exactly.
Super efficient jungling, of course. We have nothing but praise to say about Canyon. Incredibly proficient. And now Infinity back on the attack on this mid-tier 1. I think this time round they will be able to get it, but let's see the rest of DK.
I mean, BeryL is there, has Hex Flash, has Magnet Storm, has exactly the same setup, and he's going in for it. That's Magnet Storm, brings in 2. ShowMaker has the Shockwave available. Equalizer really not going to do too much here for Gillette Infinity, and here comes Khan. He's on the flank, he's looking for it. Ackerman's going to have to try and hook himself away. Khan's still on his way. Killer Instinct is available for Ghost. There goes Khan diving in with the Gnar, gets Whitelotus, and ShowMaker's on a rampage. The rest of Infinity have to run for the hills because DWG KIA are coming.
The disengage from Infinity looked quite promising after they got the mid-tier 1. They were so close to being able to get away. Unfortunately, the flank from Khan, the flash, the chase down was too much, and Infinity are now at the risk of losing Baron. SolidSnake still here, doesn't have the flash. That steal is going to be very difficult.
Snake, your mission is to steal this Baron. If you can do it, perhaps you can turn this game around for Gillette Infinity, but ShowMaker's going to keep him at arm's length. Cody steals away the Baron with a paddle star from heaven. Gillette Infinity perhaps have a lifeline in this game.
Oh my words! Canyon man, the most important jungle camp of all, and you couldn't smite it. Cody steals that one away. Will keep Infinity in this game just a little bit longer. Ghost
caught out here. Buggax trading onto him. Ghost will flash the wall, but Buggax is having none of it. Shut down for the Jayce top laner, and Gillette Infinity are fighting back.
So let's have a look at this. So Canyon doing his best to sidestep all the damage. Does he smite? He smites early, man. 49. I think Cody even took that with an auto attack with 49 HP. ShowMaker focused on keeping SolidSnake out of the fight, but he wasn't paying attention to the true smite stealer of Cody in the mid. Beautiful stuff coming out for Infinity, and just a poorly timed smite from Canyon.
And then after that, of course, we saw Ghost die to Buggax. Burnt his flash. Didn't have the heal. Ghost about to come back from the grave. But what does this mean? Well, there's still a 2,500 gold lead for DWG KIA. They still have an Orianna who has 3 items and is 5-0-1 and is 3,000 gold ahead of Cody right now. But Vedi, earlier you said eyes on Whitelotus. He has 2 items. He's got the last Whisper. He's building himself up towards that next item. And the question is, can Gillette Infinity get back in the lead? Can Gillette Infinity get enough out of this Red Bull Baron power play to really make DWG KIA sweat?
That's the tough thing, right? I feel like that this comp works best when it's first on the objectives because it has so much poke, it has a decent amount of utility, and it also has strong disengage. So as DWG is running into them, they can kite backwards. The problem is DWG is just so powerful that it's very easy for them to just face check objectives. They're not too concerned about the amount of poke that they can take, and they have the CC to just engage when they want to. And I think that it's on Infinity to find these small windows of opportunity where they can get that damage down onto DK, but as we mentioned in draft, it's a very difficult thing to do. This is not an easy comp to play, which is why I said that I think a lot of the weight of responsibility falls on Whitelotus. He is this late game Tristana that you're kind of relying on to win you these team fights, but you're going to be forced into these team fights a little bit earlier than you probably want, as the Drake is spawning in 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Whitelotus has been able to finish that Lord Dominic's regards, so he will be at as close to full power as he can be for this fight. And we'll see if Gillette Infinity decide to take it. You really feel you don't want to give over a Mountain Soul. That shielding against the poke of a Jayce and a Zoe can be so powerful. Yep. Damwon KIA will give up control of this bot side river for the moment. Gillette Infinity working as 4, pushing in, TP coming into the bottom lane.
Look at top though, that's been pushed in by Khan. He TP's bot wave, not with mids. To make sure that that wave is pushing out as well. DK that are going to concede this mid-wave control, but that's going to give Khan the ability to actually come in from underneath, while DK come in from the north. Infinity are going to get collapsed on by 2 sides. And how will they answer this pressure?
Got 30 seconds of poking and prodding here from Damwon KIA, trying to work their way in here. Khan trading down towards the bottom side. Cody looking for the paddle start. Khan will jump away. The sleep's going to land onto BeryL. He has to use his jump. Canyon trying to come in from the top of the fight, but he can't quite get there in time. ShowMaker, watch that Orianna ball. You have to keep your eyes on her in this fight because the shockwave can change everything. The shockwave can pull Whitelotus in, can catch out the key carries from Gillette Infinity, but if they can survive, if they can land this poke, they can totally turn this game on its head. Gillette Infinity, final stand, last chance, last gasp here in the group stage to try and make it out. They have to take down the reigning world champions to do it, and Damwon KIA have backed off. They have given up the dragon, and Gillette Infinity are holding onto life in this game, but Damwon KIA aren't done. They're pushing in mid. They have a minion wave. They've got a canyon here as well, and Gillette Infinity have to work their way all the way around. Take the long path in. Buggax actually goes down to the bottom lane himself, but this mid inhibitor tower will be taken by Damwon KIA. Forfeit for the dragon. Damwon KIA pushing mid. Infinity trying to defend. Their inhibitor is forfeit, and Damwon KIA make the macro play to give up the dragon and get an inhibitor.
They simply use the inside track to force Infinity to have to go all the way around. And look, they're going to steal away all the topside camps as well. Well executed from Damwon after what was a bit of a fumble from Khan. You could see the idea behind it. Push in bot wave, then collapse in from that side to then have Damwon collapse from the north, and then you get this really nice team fight. The problem is, Buggax actually went to the lane as well. Khan thought that he was collapsing onto Buggax, but then Infinity was actually collapsing onto Khan. The moment they engage onto him, he's forced to use his, well, Mega Gnar because he has the maximum rage. Then they're just kind of trying to walk into all this poke that we were talking about. So Infinity actually got to the objective first, actually could use their poke to their advantage, and were able to get themselves a Drake. So they buy themselves a little bit more time. The Baron is going to be spawning soon, and Damwon are yet to find a really easy 5v5 team fight. And as long as Infinity can keep stalling, this poke is only going to get stronger. Whitelotus is only going to get stronger, and they still stand a chance in this game.
Khan pushes in the bottom lane. I'm going to be honest, Vedi, like, Damwon KIA look fallible. Their close game versus Detonation focused me. Their loss to C9 this game. Gillette Infinity have played this very well, but they have been behind for a long time. At the 20-minute mark, we were saying it's all but a foregone conclusion.
Well, that's the thing. I think that Infinity haven't actually played that well. I think that there's been such a huge team gap that I would have expected this game to be over. But like a couple small fumbles against a team that wins their domestic region, they'll take that opportunity. Yeah. That just because in this game, Damwon, I think, have played better doesn't mean that they still cannot lose. And I think that Infinity are just waiting for those small opportunities. Damwon are not playing flawlessly, and that is the crucial thing. Infinity waiting for those small moments with a comp that like this, those small missteps can be punished very, very massively. Let's see if Infinity can do it, though. They're pushing out the mid wave. Khan, once again, on the flank.
He's almost got Mega. Do Gillette Infinity realize? Ackerman stunned up. Cody tries to get the bubble down but can't get it. And here comes the Magna Storm. Kicked away. BeryL knocked back. Ackerman getting land the knock up. There's the equalizer over BeryL as well. And Cody still alive. Buggax unable to join this fight. Ackerman gnarred into the wall. The rest of Gillette Infinity trying to get there, trying to save their support, but they cannot do it. And now Damwon KIA can collapse. BeryL chased away by Buggax. He has to back away. SolidSnake takes about half his HP. and that's 1-0 in favor of Damwon. Infinity, though, still have their carries, and importantly, still have their jungler, but what they don't have is vision. They do not know where Damwon are right now as they start up the Baron. SolidSnake's going to clear out the Krugs. Khan now spotted on a ward. Buggax coming in, but he's knocked up by BeryL immediately, and perhaps Buggax is going to fall before he can really influence this fight. Cody misses the paddle start. It goes a little bit wide as BeryL takes the kill. ShowMaker forces Cody away down towards the bottom side of the fight, but SolidSnake now next on the menu. DWG KIA will secure the Baron, and with it, perhaps they can secure this game.
Damwon reaffirm control over the game and will get themselves the Baron that they should have been able to get earlier. Extremely patient play from them and good control over the enemy jungle should cement the lead that they have and should also cement this game. Infinity found some good punishes, but unfortunately it was not enough. And now Damwon are looking to break into the base and looking to end this game.
A much closer affair than perhaps many of us would have thought it could be. 6,000 gold between the two teams. Mid lane inhibitor a minute and a half away from spawning. You know what's up before that? The Mountain Soul for Damwon. Let's have another look at this fight.
And this is just a situation where Infinity is grouped up as 5 and Damwon is saying, let's just try and 5v5 fight. I think the fact that Khan is in a bit of an awkward position, and that Rumble ultimate was really strong because it zoned ShowMaker and Ghost out of the fight. But Buggax is feeling a little uncomfortable fighting into that minion wave as the support is getting collapsed on, and then Ghost sees his avenue into the fight. That's when Infinity gets split up, and that's when DK can continue the chase. And
Whitelotus got like 2 auto attacks off in the entire fight. He cleared the minion wave. He really couldn't reposition, so he could never get in there. We said he was going to be the key carry in these late game fights. Well, if your AD carry isn't able to auto, he's not doing too much. Buggax looking for the trade here onto Ghost. The killer instinct's going to come out, and here comes Canyon as well. Buggax a little bit too greedy from you as Canyon will take the kill. The top lane, bot lane inhibitor tower next on the menu here for DWG KIA. Mid lane inhib still 30 seconds away from spawning, and DWG KIA are forcing this. They are playing their hand. They are taking the inhibitors. Whitelotus finally going to join the fight, and Khan is pushing in top wave as well. That's the second inhibitor of the game for Damwon, and Infinity really don't have an answer right now.
They don't have a mid wave right now. That inhibitor in mid lane is going to be respawning soon. They're going to have to play with the top and bot wave. The bot wave is slowly starting to die. Yeah, it's a bit awkward for Damwon because they don't really have the waves that they want. Fortunately for them, it's difficult for Infinity to force an engagement with a player disadvantage. DK actually going to choose to disengage from this one, perhaps get themselves the max.
Snake is dead. Because ShowMaker can just...
Oh! They missed everything.
Okay, well, Snake probably should have been dead, but BeryL misses the engage there as Canyon starts up the Mountain Drake for Soul. And 36 minutes in, it's going to be pretty easy secure for DWG KIA. I will say ShowMaker's got himself a Jayce, 12 stacks on that complete. He's at 5 items, full build basically on this Orianna. A single one of those shockwaves will pretty much kill Whitelotus or Cody if they're caught.
Yeah, ShowMaker, low-key, very good game. His positioning has been good, his shockwaves have been good. The way he's played the lane was very impressive. And I think that he overall has had a really great day. We talked about ShowMaker a lot in his first game versus Cloud9. And unsurprisingly, I think that he's a very motivated player. You know, when he loses, I don't think he likes it. No. And he tends to come back stronger. We know many players like that. And to me, ShowMaker definitely seems like one of them. Strong performance here, looking to close things out against Infinity, looking to lock their spot in the Rumble stage.
Just 2 Nexus towers between Damwon and a spot against RNG, against Mad Lions, against Pentanet, against whoever comes out of this group, of course, and against PSG. I should list them amongst the people in the Rumble stage. DWG KIA knocking in 3 lanes at once. Double super minions pushing in the top wave. Buggax caught out. He dives onto Khan, but he's stunned up. He's locked down. He goes gold, and here's the engage. Magnet Storm busts a shot, knocks him straight back out of the Equalizer coming down as well. And ShowMaker pops the stopwatch, but he's so low he will tick burn. It just about able to survive with Command Protect. Oh wait, Shockwave only hits onto Ackerman. Ghost diving in as well, and Cody's killed Canyon. Cody trying to do what he can, dodge around as much as he can here. SolidSnake on the front line. Khan diving in. The stun, the wallop. Whitelotus is done. Ghost takes him out, and DWG KIA turn the fight. ShowMaker was a sliver of HP from dying, but Damwon get the triple on Ghost and get their spot in the next stage.
Whew. Not the cleanest game from Damwon. Their early game was immaculate. They controlled the lanes extremely well. Individually, they were just outclassing their opposition. But in the later stages, losing that Baron, getting caught out here and there, things started to fumble a little bit for Damwon in the mid to late game, but once they saw an opportunity to get a good fight, they were able to find it, convert it into a Baron, and into a big win. So now they will lock their spot in the Rumble stage, and now it's a competition between Cloud9 and DFM, who are actually going to be playing up next.
Yep.
Crazy group we've gotten to round things out.
And a lot of it comes down to that game. Like, the head-to-head is in DFM's favor right now. Cloud9 will, of course, be wanting to take that win, even it out at 1-1, and see if perhaps they can go 3-0 on the day.
Do want to give a shout out to Cody. I think that he was a strong standout on this roster. And while there was a lot of hype around Infinity, Cody, I think, had a lot of really solid performances and plays throughout the tournament, which I think were a strong contributor to Infinity, making games very difficult for their opposition.
Yeah, and while Gillette Infinity will not be advancing, Cody still took the opportunity to teach DWG KIA that every second counts, thanks to the reliable Cisco network. Man, this steal. It was like 49 HP.
I mean, you got to take it, right? And the fact that he even steals it with an auto attack, you can see the Q actually passes through the Baron. Poorly timed smite from Canyon, with which Cody was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'll take it, easy peasy.
It's free, you know?
And so that could have been the comeback moment. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough. We mentioned it, a very difficult to play composition from Infinity. They went for it though, and it didn't quite pay off. This will be the end of their tournament run. They still will have another important game against Cloud9 potentially later, but this next game coming up, I feel could be for all the marbles, Medic, in this group.
Well, we'll have to wait and see as Cloud9 get ready to face off against Detonation Focus Me. Let's send it back to their win on day 3 against Gillette Infinity in Sounds of the Game, presented by Bose.
Yeah, Jake is really weak on this patch. I think we should siege mid, but do we actually need Barry?
Yes. We should look
I think we should go down mid and dive them.
Yeah, we're about to get out. I'm gonna walk into them.
Guys, the game is just over now automatically. Just use them.
Just win.
Rell's behind us, yo. Rell's behind us, but really Africa. Tristan is on him.
I have W in 2 seconds, okay?
Victor's getting murdered. Victor's at the Revo, I think. It's bugged or what?
Kai'Sa, no sums. Kai'Sa, no sums.
Nice lord. Got him. Yeah. Okay, let's end. Yes, man! Nice! We win! Wow, beat Lamb. Yeah!
The magical power of the realm is a mystery. Like a guardian, it is with you always. Defending you, charging you, watching over you like... Actually, it's not magic. It's this Cisco network. The power behind every gank, every combo, every mind-blowing moment. At League of Legends Esports, MSI 2021.
I've got to ask a little more broadly, just because it could determine who gets out of this group. You've got a matchup against Cloud9 coming up in Game 4. You currently own the head-to-head. How is the team feeling about what might be the matchup to decide whether or not you advance?
実際今回C9 と今度戦うんですけど、直接対決でリードしているっていうところで、次のステージに進むにあたって、どういうふうに考えてますか？
次のステージっていうのは
今回
ランブル
C9 と
ステージっていうことですか？
はい
そうですね。この次のランブルステージに行くためにはクラウド9は絶対に避けては通れない壁だと思うので、本当にもう全力を出して、勝ちに行きたいと思ってます。
So we really have to beat C9. We know that for sure to get to the Rumble stage, and we'll do our best to beat them.
Alrighty, well, Evie, I want to thank you for taking the time, congratulate you on the victories that you've had so far today, and wish you the best of luck in your future games.
Well, quick hit with Evie there from earlier. I mean, that's not really anything out of the ordinary. He said we're going to do our best to win, and it is so important as I welcome you back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where we are minutes away from Cloud9 facing off against Detonation Focus Meet. Now, as it stands, Cloud9 are fighting for their lives. They need to win. If they lose, they are out of MSI. If they win, there are still a couple of possibilities in the scenarios depending on the matches that are following. But Emily, yeah, it all comes down to this because of Detonation Focus Me beating Cloud9 the last time around. What are your general feelings before we get into this rematch?
I think both teams are actually feeling really good going into this match. Interestingly enough, they both had good showings earlier on today. I did like how C9 looked a lot more proactive. Detonation Focus Me looked like they hadn't lost a step in their game either. So, I mean, I think both teams are kind of looking across and they're like, okay. Okay, we got this.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Both have had a great showing, but of course Cloud9 took down the world's champions, and I think if we zero in on a couple of matchups that are going to be pivotal, let's start with the top lane, Fudge versus Evie. And Fudge, of course, had a phenomenal game. And Grabbz, what can you say about what you've seen from him in this opening game versus Damwon, his deadly Lee Sin, and now this matchup up against this legend out of the LJL?
I think it's important again to note that Fudge was not winning early. He lost 4 plates against Khan. And as you can see here, the jungle proximity is like very low for him. That means if they actually go again for like an early Lee Sin blind pick and Evie gets the counter pick and the path towards him, I think Fudge needs to be really careful there. So I think in this kind of matchup, maybe it's more important this time around to give Fudge something more stable, which has to survive, because I think it's very clear how DFM wants to play the game. And him just surviving against it and then playing full bot, I think is the easiest way for Cloud9 to win this matchup.
But I'm going to relay this then to Emily, because surely to me, a noob watching that game, I see a first pick Lee Sin, and I see him smurfing and finding the enemy AD carry in every single one of those team fights. Do you agree that a different pick would be better? And how do you reflect on the matchup versus Evie?
I think there are 2 parts here. One, it's going to be how much is Blabber actually headed towards the top side. As we already said, as Grabbz just reiterated, they haven't gone top as much, so that gank that we showed earlier after the C9 win over Damwon Kia was kind of out of the ordinary compared to what they'd been doing previously at this tournament, but certainly completely within their comfort zone in terms of what they had been doing in North America. So I'm wondering if Blabber is going to be coming up to that top lane and kind of helping Fudge get ahead, especially if they are going to blind pick Lee Sin again in this draft. Another part of this is the fact that they are willing to let the Rumble go through seemingly, and Detonation Focus Me have also not had a huge priority on Rumble outside of banning it. So these are 2 interesting teams in a group that seems to be developing its own kind of weirdness around the Rumble meta.
Yeah, I think that's a great point and also very important going into the draft.
Also, one thing in this draft importantly is that in the game DFM against Infinity, Varus went through.
Yeah.
And that's also why I think if actually Cloud9 gets the Varus, playing full bot should be so easy for them. And then it doesn't matter if Fudge is playing top, because I think Cloud9's bot lane can easily take over the game.
Yeah, I mean, we said even in the lackluster first round robin for Cloud9, their bot lane played out of their minds. And I think with Vulcan's moves on Alistar in that first game in the back of our heads, that should definitely be an option for Cloud9. But I do want to zero in into the jungle a little bit more for Cloud9. Blabber came into this tournament and had an absolute nightmare in the first round robin. But then he shows up today, Emily, and everything comes up Blabber. How is that going to change the jungle matchup that we're going to see here?
I think it's going to be about jungle, and I also think it's going to be about mid. So it's also really going to depend on what each team picks for Arya and Perks, respectively, in comparison to what Steel and Blabber are going to end up doing. This play from Blabber was so huge, and I mean, most of it is damage coming out of Perks. Blabber comes in, follows up, gets the double kill. I think that Blabber needs to be on something he's comfortable on, which is another thing that he himself said in his post-match interview. So, I mean, it's about getting Blabber involved. It's also about getting Vulcan involved early and just trying to make plays around the map, having pushing lanes.
I can spot there a huge grin on Luka Perkovic's face, even though it is covered by a mask. That's always good to see, right, Grabbz? And we also talked at the top of the day about how the team needed to find confidence and everything needed to just go better. Well, they had the best start they could possibly have, so certainly they must be in a different headspace where they should have the right approach to this game.
Yes, especially we talk about now like draft nuances, which are less important than actually the general feeling of the team. Now with confidence behind them, and as we saw here, Blabber flashing over a wall to stun somebody, these kind of moments are really important. It doesn't matter what champ you're playing, you have to be confident in playing it and going for these 2v2, 3v3 fights. So after a convincing, well, not convincing, but good win against Damwon, I think Cloud9 for sure has the momentum going. But as Emily said, DFM also played pretty well in the first game. So as she said again, I think both teams are going to come swinging, going to pick champions that can actually go for these skirmishes early game, and then one flash, one missed 10 summoner, one outplay can decide the game pretty easily.
Yeah, we are the English-speaking broadcast, so it's natural we focus a bit more on Cloud9, but it is true that Nation Focus Me has had one hell of a story so far, and I think we need to put it in the context, Emily, of those 7 years without a win versus a #1 seed out of a region, then doing that, then contesting Damwon, and now being on the brink to making it to the next stage. It cannot be overstated how big this win would be for the LGL and for DFM.
Yeah, it would be massive. And the fact that, again, they're going to have an upgrade in support going into the summer split, right? So this isn't even the
Final
team
form.
that... Yeah, exactly. I keep trying to avoid saying that. But this isn't even... Like, this is kind of a stopgap towards what they want their team to be. And to have this specific team with Kazu, who's been a player previously in the region for a while, moved to coach, now moved back into support, to have him kind of like guiding this team as a player coach with a lot of like historic players like Evie, it's really cool, actually. It'd be really awesome story if this specifically was the team that managed to make it out of that first stage at an international event.
Yes, it would be a great story on both sides, but it is do or die for Cloud9. We'll be back for Champion Select after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Growing up huge here on the international stage, taking down Cloud9.
Yeah, this is still going to be favor to DFM.
Or on 2 right now. Khan is taking a huge amount of damage. And take a look at ShowMaker. He's trying to trade one back, but he will not be able to. And down will go Khan as well.
Almost won a best of 1 against DWG KIA. They were so close.
He's just watching. He doesn't even notice that Perks has taken it, slain it, and Buggax from a mile away gets deleted.
Great job by Cloud9, but this is now where the work begins.
We can honestly finish this group 4-2, and that's just something that we're hoping for